We're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, welcome back to Express Mail. I'm Casey.
No, I'm Kevin.
And I'm screaming again.
You don't have to scream. Don't worry about it.
All right. So anyway, guys, we're going to do a quick video here. Go ahead, Kevin.
Some pretty serious stuff to talk about, but also
we're going to talk about some.
We didn't
fun
do one
stuff.
of these last week, and it was mainly because
I was out of town.
My co-host was on vacation.
Yes. So I was in the.
Tell us about the vacation.
I was in the Netherlands.
What?
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Next to the Netherlands.
Next to the Netherlands. Yeah. No, I went to Colorado, which I always do, at least once a year, usually twice a year. Probably go back in September too. But anyway, I went up to see the kids up in Cheyenne and did a little curve up through the mountains on the way up there and on the way back. And one of the coolest things was, and I went there as a kid, but it wasn't near as extravagant as they've made it now. The Royal Gorge has become like its own little theme park.
It's an attraction.
Yeah, it's a major attraction. Thank God we were there and wasn't too busy. I told Debbie, I was like, could you imagine, in the middle of summer, how busy this thing would be? It would be almost a nightmare. But
is it hard to get to it? Like the road's curvy and
wind
down into it? Or?
The road is just really small. I mean, it's almost like smaller than the old Route 66 curving up to it. Now, off the main road, I'm going to say it's maybe 5 miles off the main road, and you're doing a little jig-jag, and there's one little, I thought was going to be a really good souvenir gift store, and thinking I was going to say, it said jewelry and everything. Of course, I love turquoise stuff, but it didn't. It was just,
out.
Just a place to use a bathroom. So other than that, the road going up is tiny, and they got you going 15, 20 miles an hour because you're doing the curve back and forth up to it. But it's a big deal. They've got the real nice gondolas that go across where all the sides are glass, where you just feel like you're hanging out over that. You're 1,000 feet above the river, and they got the railroad tracks going by the river. And then, like I was telling you, when you go with me, we'll do that. There's you can sit on one side and sit down in this swing, and of course they buckle you in. It's tied to a zip line, and you zip line across the Royal Gorge, which it's pretty big across, and it's it's
what would you say, 100 feet, 200 feet across?
Oh no, I'd say it's probably a football field,
100 yards.
I think so, something like that. Yeah. It might be more than that. I don't know. But in that picture, you saw that gondola way out there, and it looked like a tiny ant out there, and it wasn't over there yet. So it's hard. The depth perception is, like I told you, is like being at the Grand Canyon. You can't tell what you're looking at unless, like, maybe an airplane flies there. Yeah. You can see how little or big that airplane is. So it's real depth perception. Is that the right word? Perception. Perception. Shortening up my words these days. But anyway, it was great. If you're up and around, I guess, Cannon City, Pueblo area, you're not far from the Royal Gorge, so it's worth going by and take. If you've never been there, it's worth a look. So really enjoyed that. And
my sister went years ago, and I think, as far as I know, she's the only one that has been in my family
to the Royal Gorge.
Yeah. So
there's so many things out there. The Cave of the Winds, the Royal Gorge. There's even other caverns and stuff this guy was talking about, and lot to see right up and down I-25 from there all the way up to Denver. There's quite a bit you can go check out. But we were back off up in the mountains going and just having a ball and getting in some snow, and it's crazy. You go through Breckenridge. Breckenridge, yeah, and snow everywhere, and you start going up into the mountain, and then you come over the hill, and it's like you landed in the desert. There's no snow at all, and yet there was 20 feet right behind me, and you crest over that hill, and I'm like,
that's weird how weather works up there. That's
very crazy. And that's what me and Dave were talking about. Is I guess back in the day, to build the ski resorts, they just watch the patterns or that thick snow. Yeah, so pretty crazy, but the snow is one kind of beauty, and then you come over that hill and see all these mountains that were bare, and it was just a different kind of beauty as far as how God just put all that together. So don't get me started on all that either. That's another thing is there's a 17-minute movie of how the Royal Gorge came about.
Billions of years ago.
Oh gosh, billions.
Somebody
and billions.
turned a drip on.
Yeah, it's just it's.
If that's the case, then how come it ain't getting any deeper? How come
I know
Did it just quit growing all of a sudden? Yeah.
When Mount St. Helens blew up, that ruined all the scientists' layers of Earth and all that, because when Mount St. Helens blew up, it formed like what looks like to these scientists millions and millions of years of layers of Earth, but that happened in the explosion.
Yeah, just during the explosion.
Just during the explosion, the exact same stuff piled up like that, and I don't know how long. I was trying to figure that out, and I was talking to Mike about that, how long we think the Earth was here before Christ, and there's so many different. Anyway,
I don't think it's billions and billions.
I don't either. If it was billions and billions, that river done cut the Earth in half.
Exactly.
It done sawed it in half.
Especially about the 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter every 10 years.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's just crazy.
So in your lifetime, you might get an extra 6 inches out of it.
Yeah. No, I don't want to go there. That's just crazy. But anyway, it was beautiful. I suggest you go there. If you've never been to the mountains of Colorado, go up the west side and then come back down the east side before you get old I-25 down through Peak to Peak Highway coming back down. But the west side is really beautiful because that's where Ouray is and Silverton, and it's just a beautiful place to visit. But anyway, I'm
Denver
hoping
west. It's all. I mean,
yes.
Even if you go to Wyoming and you run across Interstate 80, and it's just pretty much just straight up and down the hill or whatever, you know. But it's just as far as you can see, and the scenery don't hardly change much across Interstate 80.
No,
but you can get off the interstate and go to places.
Now, is 80 the one that goes west?
Out of ones runs east and west through Cheyenne, yeah.
To Laramie, yeah. We did that. We went to Laramie and then cut down into the north end of Colorado.
Well, other than Elk Mountain, if you didn't make it that far, obviously.
No.
Other than Elk Mountain, there's not a lot of change in scenery.
That way.
Yeah, it's just all you go through a little town every now and then. It'd be a fuel stop or something other over there, but there's not a whole lot.
What blows me away is in between the big mountain ranges, there is, I mean, like Denver and Colorado Springs, that mountain range right there, you get off into there, and then there's flatlands, and then it's just miles and miles before you get that other range of mountains over there. It's
it looked like you could throw a rock.
I know.
Yeah.
No. Well, so anyway, that was a great trip, and again, like I said, I'm probably gonna go back, try to do some ghost towns in September.
That'd be fun.
That would be a blast. So anyway, on to the next thing. I know you want to get talking about a cashless society.
Man, I heard about it. I mean, everybody's heard about it at one time or another, but I mean, I was listening to a program today and it was kind of on that subject. So it got me thinking what we talked about earlier, how do you go completely cashless? There's so much money spent.
Cash wise.
Yeah. I mean, I walk in and get a hamburger, $6-8 or whatever. I just give them a $10 bill and I'm done, whatever. But I mean, like I was talking to you about earlier, what if you're a guy who lives in a neighborhood and you got an old man living next door to you, he's got a trampoline, you got 2 or 3 kids, and he wants to sell that trampoline. What do you do with a cashless society? You take a debit card? Or?
Well, like I said, that the Cash App or the Venmo, but like you said, the government now, which I don't know if that's going to continue now, but you start running too much money through that Cash App stuff, then the government's wanting you to report that, so
Yeah.
they tax you on that. Now I don't know if you put in the memo, this is to reimburse somebody for gas money or something. I don't know if that would help or if that would even solve the problem. But you're right, that
everything
there's a
you
little
do,
hook in every little thing you try to do.
everything you do is going to be known by somebody or some entity,
absolutely,
some way, whether it's the Cash App or
Venmo,
or whatever it is,
yeah.
And if my neighbor down the road here has got a gun for sale, if I want to buy it, I'm gonna go down and buy it. And I don't want no
Cash App.
Yeah, I'm not gonna Cash App him. If he wants 400, I'm gonna offer him 350.
See, now let's go to my side. I'm cashless, and so what I do is if I get somewhere where I need some cash, I just borrow it from Kevin. Isn't that true?
And then you Cash App my wife, and now I ain't got no money.
You ain't got no money.
Because I don't have Cash App.
That happens a lot. So anyway, but yeah, it's everyone. Like I said, we went to the convention center to that Mecum Auto auction. Everything, including the parking, electronic. They don't even take cash there. And then
that's what that's what the subject was about today. What I was listening to somewhere, and I don't know if it was might have been a school district or something. Well, even up here, Scurry, you can't walk in and pay $3 or $4 to get in one of them kids' games.
They won't.
You got to get it. You got it's online stuff. You got to walk in there with your phone and show it. At a little jerkwater town like we live in, not even 500 people.
That is.
And you go to the school up there to watch a game. You got to get a.
You got to pay for it
before
you get there.
And then show them your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's convenient on one hand, but I totally get where you're coming from too, to carry cash. And if you want to just, like you said, if your buddy's got a gun, he's wanting to sell it, you just throw cash at him. You don't have to pay 30% on a person-to-person gun sale.
No.
Yeah, I understand. I totally get it. And
I'm sure that
I don't know where we're going. Really,
that's probably an argument that would be brought up if this whole cashless society thing comes up.
Yeah.
And just like anything that the government does, they'll say, well, we're going to allow so much for this, so much for that, so much for this. But they'll allow you, let's just say 10,000. Next year it's going to be 8,500.
Yeah, and they should.
Then the year after that it's going to be 7,500. It's just going.
If I cash out you money, that should be none of their business.
You would think. But I've done work and I've done paid taxes on that money, so if it's cash in my pocket and I want to buy something from you, whatever you're asking for it, that's what I'm going to give you for it.
Yeah, not plus 30%.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. That's just one of them things.
I agree.
If you got any ideas about that, I just think it's
leave a comment.
I don't know, man. I just think it's not a good deal. Maybe I know a lot of things are going to cashless, but to me, there's always got to be room for a guy to carry $100, $200, $300 in his pocket, because you never know what you're going to run up.
That's true. And if you're at a flea market, you can't. The ones out. The biggest part of that flea market, most of them don't take card. If you're going in the flea market,
to do it. If you can't, you go to shopping in any other store, they
do.
They look at you stupid, like if you bring cash.
Yeah, it don't make any. It's a technology. We're right in the middle of this big conversion, kind of like when the vinyl records started going away and people just wasn't accepting that, and then they got left behind. But yeah, cash is something totally different. You can't compare it to vinyl records. But I mean, I'm just saying the technology is just constantly moving to where who knows what's going to happen next.
I had a buddy of mine, I was telling you earlier, he sold me some ammo. He had to spend some money that he wasn't counting on spending, so it left him kind of short. So he sold me some ammo. If I didn't have cash in my pocket, he wouldn't have sold it to me. Because he needed the money. He didn't need my credit card or or
he didn't need
whatever
cash app.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
That's just my.
No.
I just have my own opinions about cashless society, and I don't think it's a good deal. I don't think. I don't think we should ever be cashless.
Ooh.
Period.
Yeah. What was his thoughts? The program, did he think it's going?
I don't know because I was in and out, and so I
okay.
didn't get to hear it. But I just knew that was a subject he was talking about. And if they're talking about it on radio, it's probably because something big is going on, like a school district or something. Yeah, well, I mean, you can't go to a Cowboy game. You can't go to a Ranger game. You can't go to anything without a credit card, debit card, or something.
True.
You can't even pay for parking with cash.
They don't take cash at all.
Nothing, nowhere.
So, hey, by the way, later on this month is the big good guys thing out at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah, we need to go back out there.
Yeah, we
Finish
do.
one of them scooters.
2 years, yes, indeed. So,
Anyway.
are we going cashless? I don't know. They're trying real hard to do that. Like I said, I'm cashless basically already, so I just borrow from Kevin, or if I'm with Derek, I'll borrow from him.
Let me cash out here.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, let's talk about these Tesla idiots that are setting fire.
I love the fact that they got cameras all
around them, man. And I'm telling you what, that's you need to go to jail for 20 years, 15.
They got 3 of them they finna pounce on.
Good. Keep pouncing on them. That'll stop in a heartbeat when they start doing that.
You run 3 of them up there for 15, 20 years, and
that'll come to a halt.
Yeah. I don't think I want to be bombing a Tesla.
Yeah, I saw these girls scratching it and everything, and her face is in 4K right there in the camera. I'm like,
she'll get snagged.
Yeah.
She's done.
They'll
find out who she is.
These people, you can just look at them and tell they're insane. Anyway.
You know, the people that are bombing these cars 6 months ago
loved them.
Yeah, thought everybody should own one because we're saving the planet. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, you know, that was and a lot of other people make electric cars, but nobody makes one that sells as good as Tesla does. Right. He sells more electric cars than all the rest of them combined. So, but 6 months ago, they were a good thing. Now, all of a sudden, because we were going to save the planet, so now then the planet ain't no big deal. Well, let's just shut this man down, and kill his car sales. So, which tells me you ain't about the planet anyway.
No,
you're just. Not. This is just all about
it's
leading you by the nose and their feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
Come on,
makes them feel good. Then walk or ride a bike if that makes you feel good.
Yeah,
go right ahead. I have nothing against electric cars. My bosses had 2. I don't know. I'm fine with what I've got. I got a big old 5.7 Hemi just sucking gas like crazy. I had to fill up yesterday morning. I filled up on the way home. That's how much that thing sucks gas. But it's a pickup. It's not supposed to get good gas mileage. So even these new Toyotas with these twin turbo max engines or whatever they are, they don't get good gas mileage. So why didn't you leave the V8 in? Matter of fact, the Ram was going to this Hurricane engine, which was a twin turbo 6 like Ford's EcoBoost. And now the 2026s are coming out with the 5.7 V8 back end.
Because nobody wanted it.
Are they having trouble? You know how much trouble, they're having with it. Toyota's had a mess with theirs, but.
Well, I got 3 diesel trucks sitting out there that I can just grab the keys to whichever one I want, and I can jump in and
take off,
smoke the neighborhood out before I leave. That's what I try to do.
But yeah, so this Tesla, this Elon Musk thing, you people, if you're out terrorizing people who are driving them, man, I tell you what, if I was driving one and you come up and started beating on my car, you wouldn't last very long.
It's wonder if somebody don't,
shoot you. I'm too old. I'm too old to fight.
You can go bomb.
62 tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, tomorrow, and I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna shoot you.
You can go bomb a, throw a, what do they call, Molotov cocktails. You
Yeah.
throw one of them at a dealership somewhere. You're gonna get your picture taken.
Yep.
But it's another thing to walk up to somebody.
Yep.
And just start ragging them about their car because you don't like it, you're offended by it, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a wonder somebody don't get shot. I'm not advocating for somebody to get shot,
but
when
you're attacking me,
we have a Second Amendment right, and people in this state carry.
And your car is an extension of your property too. Am I correct on that?
Well, that's what I've always heard. That's if you're in that car, that's yours.
And
I
haven't bought a Tesla because again, nothing against being electric. I don't care for the looks of it.
Yeah.
And the truck is one of the ugliest vehicles I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's like when they come out with that Prius, when Toyota come out with that.
Still got it.
Everybody thought that was just the greatest thing. It gets 50 miles a gallon and it does this, and it's just it's going to save the planet.
Yeah.
But it is ugly, and I'm not paying $30,000 or whatever they cost.
The new one
to ride around.
It looks better, but it's not pretty. And if you get the top of the line, you're pushing $50,000
for an ugly
car. A freaking, what's it called?
Prius. For an ugly car.
Yep. Yep.
No, thank you. I'm not spending that kind of money on something ugly.
Now I'm saving the planet because I got my wife a Toyota Camry hybrid, so there's green stuff just flowing out the back of that. We're saving the planet with that one. So anyway, I feel good.
I don't know if Robin's Santa Fe does anything for the planet or not, but she likes it. So.
Yeah, it's all that matters. Yeah. It's all that matters. But again, if you made one, I tell you one that is really good looking. Chevrolet's Silverado electric truck is stunningly beautiful, but it'll only go, 275, 300 miles on a charge. Well, I can't do that. I'm not going to
hear the Childress up there and have to park for how long?
30 or 40 minutes or an hour and a half. I don't know. I don't know how good they've got these things to that point yet. But if I was going to buy an electric vehicle, that'd be the first one because it's just beautiful. And it's a Silverado on the inside, outside. It's just ran by a whole different platform. Now if you're getting 500-600 miles out of a charge, but then, how much are they going to charge for that stupid thing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hey, if you want to drive an electric car, go buy you one. If you don't, go get you gasoline.
All I can see that they're good for is if you just run back and forth to work or whatever, run around
makes
town
sense for that.
And you got a charger at home.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Makes sense.
But otherwise, if you got to go find a charger out here, you're not going to find a charger.
Yeah, not much out here.
Not that I know of.
Now my boss, he's real computer smart and all that stuff, and he drove his new Rivian from here to California, and he did just fine. But he had to go a certain route. Yeah, you're not free to just go how you want to go. You got to go where those chargers are at. And that's all I'm saying is, if you can get it to where I can go, 500, 600 miles on a charge, I might look at it. But if it's going to cost 20 or 30 grand higher than what I can buy a gasoline engine for, then that would never pay off.
You're not going to save nothing because it's going to cost you just as much to charge that thing up to get another 600 miles out of it as it would.
So anyway, that's our take on the Tesla nut cracks out there. And they are nut cracks. I mean, you can look at them and tell they're stupid. So anyway, we'll go from there. Anything else on Tesla?
I just, nah.
All right, so we done cashless society. Now let's talk about all this stuff coming out with the JFK.
I haven't really kept up with it probably like you have. I know there's some new stuff come out, and what was you talking about?
Well, if you go to YouTube and look up, what's it called, the
JFK's conspiracy.
Yeah, but what was what hospital was that?
Parkland.
If you look up the Parkland doctors, JFK, they interview the doctors that saw his body before anybody else did. They were in the emergency room. The head doctor of that hospital stood 18 inches over JFK's head and said a bullet had entered from the front and blew the back of his head out. He said, I'm standing there looking at him, and he's the top doctor at the whole hospital. He's standing there looking down on his head and said he took a shot from the front. Yet, now we're finding out that...
Well, we've seen his head do that right there,
yes.
And then Jackie get up on the back of the hood trying to grab a piece of brain.
Now, why would it fly on the trunk if it got hit from the back? It'd have blown all over the people in the front of it.
It'd have been a mess.
So, I mean, it's... And now we're learning that the CIA probably had a lot to do with it. LBJ probably had a lot to do with it. I mean, there's so much crap coming out. I think it'll take probably about a month or two before we get a complete synopsis of everything, because there's how many? 60,000?
There's like 80,000.
Yeah, 80,000
pages or documents.
Documents, and then each document might be 1,000 pages. I mean, 1,000 pages.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. A document might contain 1,000 pages. You got 80,000 documents. That's what they were saying, that it could take forever to read it all and go through it. But if you want to see what I think about the JFK, go pull up the Seinfeld. You seen that?
I don't know.
Go pull up the Seinfeld episode where Kramer, Newman, and Jerry reenact the magic bullet theory, and you'll realize right there there was more than one shooter. And I mean, even those doctors said when they saw the pictures of the body after it went back to Washington, that's not the same body they saw. They said there was too much stuff done to that body. Was not what they looked at right after he was shot. And on top of that, they interviewed an old man on top of the bridge that he went under when it was still a railroad up there. It wasn't a highway yet. And he saw the smoke. Yeah. He saw the smoke of a rifle come out of the grassy knoll. He saw the smoke come out of the rifle. So it's, the government's just covered up so much stuff. It's ridiculous. And they're still, you don't know what to believe until.
For government was designed, and it was, and they said when they put it all together, the founders, not the greatest thing that they've ever done, but it was a necessary evil, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have somebody, I guess, in control of something. But I mean, what it was set up for then and what it's grown to now is there's so much that this government does that it wasn't designed to do. That's why they can't do any. That's why they screw so much stuff up. I mean,
look what Doge has uncovered in just 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Billions and billions of dollars of our tax money being spent on some of the dumbest things in the world. And if this administration wouldn't have got in there, it would have tripled under or more than that.
Well, they spent $7 trillion in the last 4 years.
So anyway, if you're upset that Elon and them and Doge, if you're upset at that, then you're part of the problem.
They're saving your money is what they're doing. So
yeah.
And then people keep hearing about these $5,000 rebates. I don't know if that'll ever happen or not.
I don't either.
Hey, I can promise you, if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't even be talk of that. So
yeah.
That just goes without saying.
So we'll continue to talk of JFK as more and more stuff rolls out. I've read 20,000 of the documents.
I'm still on 2.
And out of that, I got the car was black. That's all I got. That car those are some good cars back then. But anyway, and one of the other things, documentaries I've watched, one of the what is it called? That Secret Service guy was in the car behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, they've got people running beside them, but nobody running beside. They were called off at the curve. The people running beside JFK, They were called off up at the curb. And there's a video of them going like, "Why are y'all calling us off?" Yet the car right behind them had people standing all around that car.
Who was
up on the sides? Well, it was a bunch of Secret Service and
dignitaries or something.
Well, they had rifles laying on the ground, waiting for something to happen, and that. So you had presidential car here, car here. One of the guys they interviewed in this third car, he had pulled his gun up and he was looking because, of course, they saw him get shot. But he said when he stood up and started looking around, a puff of gunpowder hit him in the face. This was a guy that worked for the government
there to protect him.
Yes, and he said gunpowder. The smell of gunpowder hit me right in the face, and he said that's impossible. If the only shooter was up there, I wouldn't have smelled nothing.
No.
So there's and none of these guys, I mean, they were like, well, how come they didn't talk to Walter Cronkite, or how come they didn't talk to 60 Minutes and all this crap? Well, you know what? They could have been threatened not to talk to anybody. And I just saw these documentaries on these people.
And don't think that kind of stuff don't happen, because it happens every day. It happens.
It's like 2 years ago is when I started watching all this to realize. And again, they talked to the #1 sniper in the United States, and he said it's impossible for someone to hit that target moving from that far away 3 times in 6 seconds with the kind of scope he had. Because Glenn Beck's even looking at the scope, and he said it's a piece of crap scope that his guy had, and the rifle's a piece of crap too. They got the identical rifle. So we'll know more here pretty quick. But
well, and I don't know where technology was back in '63, but
please,
what it is in 2025 is a lot different. So it's a long
mess. Way. It is a mess.
But
so I think that will do it. Anything else you got, Bubba?
No. Like, share, and subscribe. Do that. Comment. We're liking them comments.
Yeah, we are. Let's if you got anybody that needs help when it comes to addiction or anything like that, we haven't done this in a little bit, but we'll put Mike's phone number up here. Mike Meyerhofer. What is that? Sasquatch? Is that where that name comes from? Be a Sasquatch?
Might be a descendant. You never know.
Might be what?
A descendant.
So anyway, we'll put his number up here if anybody's needing help with any kind of addiction. Just feel free to call this guy. He will sit down with you and take his time and talk to you and help you in any way he can. So anyway, like he said, ring the bell, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I think that will wrap it up. Mini Me's already here. I don't need to move it. Where's the bull rider at? How we gonna get you a bull rider up in
here? I know. Speaking of bull riding, one other thing.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm just gonna give a shout out to Dalton Castle. Yeah, Dalton Castle, PBR guy. I don't know if any of you watch rodeo or bull riding or whatever.
Well, PBR. So is this the team
PBR,
or not the team?
No. Just
so he's singularly.
He's on a team, but this is single stuff here.
Okay.
Team don't start till summer. But anyway, he's won 3 events in a row. He's went from like number 5 or 6 to he's number 1 right now.
How many more events?
Not many, because the finals are in May at AT&T during that Kid Rock and Rodeo.
Really?
That's the finals.
Wow.
That's the last day of it. They'll have a couple days before that, I think, at other places, but then the last day is going to be at AT&T. Wow. Anyway, this kid, he's just on a heater like nobody's business.
Is he from the U.S.?
He's from Texas.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's like way out west Texas, Muleshoe or one of them kind of places. I don't know, one of them little airport places. But that's anyway,
good. Not an
Australian.
Not an Australian.
No, or a Brazilian.
Or a Brazilian.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I mean he's a shy kind of guy, and you can tell when he's better now. But when he first come around, boy, he just didn't like to be interviewed. You can tell it was like painful for him.
How old is he?
Oh, he's probably 25 now. Jeez. But yeah, in the last 3 weeks, he's probably won $150,000 just in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So, anyway, good kid. I want to see him do good. He's humble, and he's freaking awesome when it comes to bull riding. So.
Anything exciting happening in NASCAR? I've noticed the last few weeks they've been at them tracks I don't really care to watch.
I don't know. I hadn't really been paying much attention.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be back soon. Sooner than later. This time it won't be so long in between. And I guess that's it. We're out of here.
I'm out.
I'm Casey.
I'm Kevin.
We're out.
Adios.